Good morning. I'm John. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. And we are a couple weeks in to my little adventure of getting laid off from my long-time job and trying to turn my hobby of content creation into a sustainable career. Yeah, it's look, we all know it's a long shot, but as a good friend of mine said, how many times in your early 50s do you get another grab at that brass ring? So I'm reaching for it. I'll start by talking about yesterday's vlog, and I got so much kind and positive response. I had people calling me and texting me, and I recognized before I put it out, it was a little late going out actually, it was very raw, it was very kind of just exposed nerve kind of thing, and it was, I almost said, you know what, that's, it just feels too something, I'll redo it, or maybe I just won't put it out at all. And then as I kind of thought about it, I'm like, no, it's honest despite being kind of exposing, and it's and it was real. I wish I was that good of an actor. I wouldn't be turning content creation into a career, right? I would be an actor. And I did have a thought. I thought back to things that many of you, like Kat, have said, which is, have you considered that this could help other people? And if all you see is a happy, smiling face always, that's not really representative of my experience. So I decided to just put it out as it was. I kind of gritted my teeth to see if people thought I was a little much or something, despite how honest it was, but quite the opposite. So thank you for your not just support of my project, but like personal support. Some of you that I know well, some of you that I know a little bit, more of you that I don't know at all. Talking to effectively a complete stranger on the internet saying, hey, hang in there, buddy. And it was I'm glad I decided to put it out as I did. So anyway, let's talk what else happened yesterday. I was kind of down yesterday. I did not make it to St. Augustine, and it's not a bad thing. I had planned to. I didn't do the Jaws thing even. I did the video where I go behind me and grab something and do it. I'll put a link up there if you didn't get to see it, but I did that, and it turned out great. It was easy. More of those are definitely in the future. But right after I got that done, as I was wrapping it up, my daughter invited me to lunch. She's like, hey, do you want to go to lunch with me and take you out and do this? And I'm like, I'm not going to pass on that. So I did that instead. I went for a little walk around the neighborhood, but it started to sprinkle, so I came in. So like I still have a live walkabout round in the chamber. Like I still want to get out. So maybe this afternoon I will, if I can get things wrapped up, I will take a trip out to St. Augustine and walk around there. I still want to. The walk helped a little, going to kind of scenic area. I still want to. So maybe today. Many of you ask, how was St. Augustine? In the comments, so it's like paying attention and really asking and caring is so cool. Also, I completed, look, this networking thing is working. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video in a second, but through this group, I was able to reach a really kind guy named Troy who does some writing for a podcast journal and has a couple of pods himself, and invited me to do a guest spot on his show, Podcasting Tips from the Front Porch. And I recorded that and completed that and handed that off to him yesterday, and I think that's going to be available early next week. And that was someone I never would have met or had an opportunity to get an outreach had it not been through this. And I got that done. Viewership and subscriber pace on this vlog has really slowed as GenXGrownUp has started the uptick. And again, this is all circling back to what I want to talk about at the end. This vlog, to me, is part of the system, right? Because I know that the kind of content I create just isn't for everybody. Not everybody wants to talk about old vintage toys and nostalgia for Generation X and that kind of thing, which is great. So this vlog is a way for me to reach out to people and you to talk about and recommend me and what I'm doing to those that might be interested. Anyway, again, I'll get to that in a second, but it's integral, and I have an ask for you. Let's talk about today. I think I am going to do the video on the JAWS Tiny TV that I talked about. Again, it's sitting on the bench over there. It's the plan. When I get done with this, I'm going to do that. Maybe do another, what I've nicknamed John's Cool Junk, for lack of a better term, because I just like alliteration. But it was really easy to do. And so I might even do that also and prepare that for the next day, I think, maybe, depending on, again, if I get a chance to go out and get that walk that I didn't get. But also, if we keep with the fact that this networking is working, I got another invitation from to do a guest podcast spot on Monetary Mixtape. You see how these little tendrils of folks that I would never get to know or get to meet find out about what I'm doing through this, and it's like it's helping. You know, it's again. One more thing, just to get to the end, I have 2 pieces of homework for you. The first is I'm doing some brainstorming research, very simple, lightweight stuff. I'm looking for some word association. So I'm going to put an address here on the screen. It's GenXGrownUp.com/AZ. That's it. If you get a chance, it's a really simple quiz. It's not even a quiz at all. We're just looking for words that you associate with Generation X. And so I'm looking for one for each letter, right? So for example, like what letter for L? Maybe latchkey. What letter for S? Maybe slacker. Like what word do you most associate with Generation X for each letter of the alphabet? You can fill out the ones you want, the ones you can think of, or you can not do it at all. But I can really use the input because I'm working on a series about Gen X culture for the channel that I think will drive viewership. And kind of crowdsourcing this is something that will help me find the very best selections to use for that. So now let me get to, I've alluded to it a couple of times during this vlog. I just gave you I requested of you some homework. It's extra credit homework is what it is. It's not required, that homework. And this networking through this vlog and through word of mouth, I can feel it working. I see it working. I see the results. I see, emails and invites from people, suggestions from people. It's like, you ever had watch water boiling on the stove and it's still cold, but I can see a bubble forming. There was a second little bubble, like something is happening. And I need your help to continue to apply the heat. We had this huge spike a couple of weeks ago. What I would ask is, you are all so kind and you come every day. And if you're not comfortable recommending my content to someone, whether the podcast or the YouTube channel or anything, if you would consider recommending this vlog at least. Again, they don't have to agree with me. They don't have to be impassioned about what I'm doing. But you never know who knows someone. You could tell someone that knows nothing about podcasting. They might watch this and go, oh, I think I've heard of a podcast, my cousin does, and maybe I'll end up connecting with somebody. I never know. And that's been my problem for the last 5 years with GenXGrownUp, is getting outside of our bubble is so hard. It's so difficult. If there's no organic growth, well, the organic growth is so small, you need to send a scout out to the other side of the line and see if there's a town over there. Otherwise you're not reaching anybody in that town. I'm mixing all of my analogies and metaphors, but what have I've done ammo in the holster, I've done sending a scout, I've done bubbles, boiling water. This is poetry. Frankly, there's a lot in this one. So what I implore today is, if you aren't already or haven't, or even if you have, if you can think of or see an opportunity to recommend what I'm doing to someone else, it literally is the gas that will fuel this engine. Another metaphor. It's having more eyeballs, potential eyeballs, people that have at least get a chance to walk by and go, well, that's kind of cool, or walk by and go, that's not for me. At least I got the chance. And taking a chance is literally what I'm doing right now. I appreciate it if you, even if you just consider it. Thanks so much. So I think it's time for me to get busy. I want to try to knock something out. Again, try to go and take that postponed little half day to St. Augustine. I think it's going to be good for my head. I thank you so much for watching the vlog today. If you're watching every day, I love that you do that. Please take fantastic care of yourself, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.